I'm Ben Henshall. I'm the Regional Vice President and General Manager of Denodo, Australia and New Zealand. My job is to oversee the growth and development of Denodo within the Australia-New Zealand market. The role of data being really critical for the growth of Australia is it affects productivity, growth, risk, security, sovereignty. And because of the diverse and wide varying nature of data and just the sheer geography and governmental levels at a federal, state and local level, data is being created at a rate that's unprecedented, but the struggle to try and put data together to inform operational decision making, analytics, strategic decisions, policy enforcement, but then be also proactive about the challenges that Australia faces. Data is an essential part to coming together to help drive those sorts of decisions. They're time-bound, they're regional bound, they're divisional bound, they're departmental bound, agency bound. And when we think about how we make decisions and how we improve the citizen life, the productivity, the challenges that we have with immigration, population growth, obviously sovereignty of our borders, those sorts of things, drive investment with education, infrastructure. Data is at the heart of that. Otherwise, we're just making decisions based on sheer conjecture or opinions. So when you take all those things into account, data is a real essential lifeblood of supporting the growth and productivity of Australia. Yeah, it's a really good question because it is quite unique within government. So government has a really important relationship with the electorate. And the big aspect to that is trust. And data is effectively a key part of that trust that governments need to maintain. And if that is broken or that is impaired, then the trust that the electorate has with the administrative bureaucracy becomes diluted. And so it's really important that governments maintain that trust of how they're handling that data and how they're using that data in order to drive better outcomes for the nation and the individual. The other part to that is they have really complicated and highly siloed organisational structures. And some of that is a good thing because you don't want to have cross-pollination necessarily because of the need to operate and maintain that isolation of data and identity that happens. But on the flip side, the electorate and the citizens are demanding higher qualities of service, better response times, better value for money. And so in order for them to be able to get those services and have better outcomes, whether it's health, education, security, support, business, et cetera, data needs to be shared and cross-pollinated so that decisions and services are provided in a much more timely and effective way and accurate way. And this is where organisational structures are not well suited within government at federal, state and local in order for those decisions and services to be provided. And so data and data integration, data delivery, data governance is a really fundamental challenge that government agencies and governments at all levels in Australia face in order to provide better outcomes to their citizenry. Yeah, so that's a really good question, and that comes down to a number of factors. The first one is trying to deconstruct and break down those silos within government agencies and within a government agency itself that has differences and different roles within how data is collected, managed, used and analysed. And so data ultimately is a software issue. It's an IT issue, but the end user of that is the business or the consumer or an analyst or the person on the front line using that data. And how they bring both the collection of data and the delivery of data in a unified way that helps the person make a better decision, a faster decision, a better outcome, a frictionless experience, prevent fraud or some sort of detriment to their own sovereignty or their own information, their own identity. That is a really important part of bringing those different custodians, if you will, and personas and stewards of using that data together. And the classic breakdown that occurs is you have the collection of data, and then the delivery of data that's used in a useful way is broken, or it's highly, highly fractious. And so Denodo has a way to bring together where data is collected and stored to then how it is integrated and managed and then delivered in the structure and format that is necessary for somebody to be able to consume that in a fast, agile, iterative way that helps them either improve their decision making, provide a frictionless automated service, provide deeper, richer insights in terms of how they're doing policy or analysis, and then ultimately make better decisions in a fast and more accurate way within the life cycle of what that agency or department is trying to do. The other thing I'd just say on this is that data has a timestamp, but data, when considering the broad requirements within an agency, has both historical, current and future aspects to it. And Denodo is a brilliant way of bringing those different dispersed data sets together in a very agile way that supports past, present and future decisions. So the product that Denodo provides is really just a very, very simple but powerful piece of middleware software. And what it does is it integrates all the data sources, databases, data warehouses, data lakes, applications, flat files, legacy systems, SaaS systems, integrates all those places where data is created and managed, and then presents that in a unified way that the business can access and interrogate and inspect, and then consume or use that data, query that data through their own preferred system, whether it's some sort of visualization tool, or it's a portal, or it's a mobile device, or it's another application that is trying to consume that data. And it does it all without replicating and moving and copying data. And this is a really, really important part of what Denodo brings that others don't do. And that is, it doesn't replicate and move that data. And that's a very important aspect given the rich, constant changing, diverse nature of data sources and applications and systems that are creating data within a government enterprise that need to be surfaced and presented to a wide varying set of users that are trying to constantly use that data. So it connects and combines and delivers data in a secured and governed way. Now, the type of outcomes that we're talking about and the experience that we have with government agencies, they're wide and varied, both locally in Australia, but also in the US and in Europe. An example locally that we have is with the Department of Health of South Australia. Now, they have integrated many, many different data sources across the department and surface those in a way now that all the government health agency service providers, whether it's the local health area networks, it's the clinician systems, it's pathology, it's child, it's what have you, they're able now to connect and interrogate and use the wide sources of data that are within the Department of Health in a fast and agile way. Now that's driving things like innovation, experimentation, better patient outcomes, better allocation of resources, real time, because they're now able to, instead of trying to extract data and then put it into their own, say, Excel spreadsheet, they're now able to query that data across a wide varied set of data, real time, and drive much faster and more accurate decisions about where they want to allocate their resources, where they want to allocate their services, and how they want to respond to requirements that come through the diverse range of their health area network. Another very quick example is the National Health Service within Scotland. Similarly, they are using Denodo and have been using Denodo for a long time to provide much faster, richer outcomes for operational decisions, like oxygen monitoring across their health network when COVID occurred, providing a more comprehensive view of diagnosis of cancer treatments and the oncology units to then be able to pass that on to their clinicians to provide much more accurate and faster diagnosis and response rates to the type of issues that their patients face when they're going through a cancer diagnosis. Look, that's a really, really big question, and it would be, I think, a level of hubris if we were to present something that is unsubstantiated. Now, what the future holds for Australia with regards to data really is anyone's guess. But what we do know within Australia is that the diverse and wide geographical and organisational structure that is Australia and the volume of data that's being created will be tripled in the next 3 to 4 years. Now, when you think about the wide range of both the geography, the organisational and administrative state within Australia, and the volume of data that's being created, that presents a massive opportunity and challenge at the same time. And so the role that Denodo can play and is playing within governments and can play within Australia is by being able to bring together data that is naturally and physically separated and will never be centrally managed. Being able to bring that data together in a secure and logical way and surface that to all types of users, whether it's at federal, state and local, business, NGOs, institutions, individuals, in a fast and iterative way that gives particularly government agencies strategic agility, but also gives them the surety that their data is secure and well governed. So you're reducing also the surface attack area and the propensity for malfeasance or bad actors to come in and compromise that data and therefore break the trust that the citizen has with the government and the administrative state.